Good day, class. Today we're going to go over Unit 6, SAS 5, a cool tool. Now this function in the calculator is pretty neat, and it's important for us to get to know it because it makes our life much simpler. Now, what was beneficial is that we got the ability to see how these equations got originated, and I think the lesson did a very good job of showing you how some of these financial equations happen or how they get created, and some of the idea behind why we use certain formulas the way we use them, especially the exponential ones. And what we're going to do now is we're going to move into something that's going to be proven to help you in finding out some of these answers with some of these financial questions. They give you quick results, and because it's simple to do in the calculator, I think most of you are going to like it. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, in your calculator, this is probably a button you really hardly ever touch. It's one that's called the apps button. But if you go ahead and click on it, this is where you get started to get into the menu on how to get to what we call a TVM solver under a finance menu. Now after clicking this button, this screen will show up, and the menu we're going to go into is the finance menu that you see. Now for the TI-83, is all it's going to say is finance, so you only got one option. So just click on enter and you'll enter to the next screen. Once you hit there, you're going to get to this screen, and we're going to click on the TVM solver. So when you get used to using the calculator, it's going to be very simple for you to use, because once you hit the apps button, you're going to click enter and then enter again. And once you click enter for the last time, this screen is going to be the most important screen I need to go over with you in this lesson, because it tells the important components of how to generate answers for us. Now let's go ahead and go over each one. It's going to be similar to the formula that we used. When you look at n represents the number of compounding periods, which was the exponent part, that was the n times the t. So the n referred to the compounding period. So like if it, let's say if it was yearly for 5 years, it would be 1 times 5. If it was quarterly, then it would be 4 times 5. If it was yearly, then it'll be 12 times 5. And we'll go through a few examples involving these, so don't worry about it. The next one, the I, the percentage sign, you have to put the interest rate, and you need to input it as a percentage. So if it's 5.5%, you put in 5.5 in there. Present value, we're going to input this as a negative number. Now a lot of people ask me, why is it that you put this as a negative number? Remember when we go back to the idea of assets and liabilities? Well, when money first comes out, when you invest money, technically it is first coming out of your pocket, so it is placed in as a negative value. It's money that's coming out, so it's a liability, so it's put in there. We do know that we're going to get it at a future value with a higher amount, but at that moment it does count as a negative value. So whatever your initial investment is, it needs to be, the most important part, please keep in mind, is put it in as a negative value. The payment, you're always going to put it at 0 in our cases, and then the other part is the future value. This number will always be positive. So if you ever get a negative number here, it's probably because you forgot to put a negative in the present value. Now the PY, it's going to be the same as your CY. The PY just means if there was a different payment frequency, but in our cases we're always going to assume that the PY and the CY will be the same. And the CY stands for compounding periods. So we have different amounts: quarterly, yearly, annually, semi-annually. Depending on what it is, it's what you put in that number there. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and practice a couple examples. Suppose you have $100 to invest for a period of 5 years and an interest rate of 10% per year. How much will you have accumulated at the end of this time period? What I'll go ahead and I'll do is I'll go ahead and do the annual one, and then I'll ask somebody to come up and do the quarterly and monthly for me. So let me go ahead and get started with the annual, and then afterwards I'll so let me pause the video and get started with that, and then afterwards I'll call on somebody to do the quarterly and monthly for me. So let me go ahead and pause the video now. Now let's go ahead and do this next example. Suppose that you're planning to send your daughter to college in 18 years. Furthermore, assume that you have determined you will need $100,000 at that time in order to pay for tuition, room and board, and party supplies. If you believe that you can earn an average annual rate of return of 8% per year, how much money would you need to invest today as a lump sum to achieve your goal? What I'll do is I'll go ahead and pause the video and call on somebody randomly to go up on the board and type in this information. but I want them to do it in annual, quarterly, and monthly terms. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now. Lastly, I like for us to do this example. Suppose that you have 1,250 today, and you'll like to know how long it will take for you to double your money to 2,500. Assume that you can earn 9% per year on your investment. I like for us to calculate an annual amount and see how many years it will take for us to get this amount.